can I thank all the other people who are going into the medical profession to try and support people with eating disorders. We know the services are underfunded and under-resourced, and failures happen and people sadly die. But we need to celebrate the good people in research and in services and the people in training who want to make the situation better. And I say that not only because I really mean it, but also because my daughter is now training to be a mental health nurse, and she's the reason I'm here today, because 7 years ago she was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa. And so the journey that we've been on with her over that period has meant that I've wanted to use that place over there, the House of Lords, to try and bring much greater awareness to the issue of eating disorders, and to use every bill that's been going through to make sure that the case for more resources is made. And the time is short, so I just wanted to make 2 points. And the first thing is, Richard at the beginning said we should use today to celebrate some of the little wins that we've made along the way. And when you're a campaigner like me, you've got to celebrate, because sometimes it feels pretty relentlessly rubbish. But there's one thing I wanted to mention which hasn't been focused on today, and that is the terminally ill adults bill, which is taking up an inordinate amount of time in our House. And when the bill came from the Commons down to the House of Lords, it would have still meant that people with eating disorders could have been helped to have an assisted death. Now, I'm sure between us we'll have different views on the bill overall, but I was determined to make sure that the bill stopped that, because we all know that people with eating disorders, their physical health is compromised to such a degree they can be in a life-threatening situation with less than 6 months to live. So that means they would have ticked that box. But their mental capacity is such that they are disordered thinking. They're not thinking straight. And yet, as we've heard so powerfully from other people here today, we know that with the right resources and services, they can recover. And so I brought forward an amendment to the bill which would exclude people with eating disorders from the bill. Now, the bill is going to fall. We've only got 1 more week, and it's going to get talked out. But we secured a vote in the Lords to ensure that this bill means that people with eating disorders won't be included. And the sponsors of the bill have said they will try and bring it back, but they will leave that amendment in. They will leave it in. And so it means that future attempts to bring forward legislation to allow people to die if they have less than 6 months to live will include that amendment that stops eating disorders being people with eating. And that's important. And we should celebrate that, because in other countries, it's been shown that well over 60 people have been allowed to die just because they have eating disorders. So that's a little win. And then the other thing is, right at the beginning, we were all asked today to say, what are we going to do going forward? How are we going to carry on campaigning? Now, for Richard and I, we have the huge privilege that when Parliament falls in a couple of weeks and there's a new Parliament and a new King's Speech, there's a new private members bill in the Commons and in the House of Lords. If we get high up the ballot, you get the chance to bring forward a piece of legislation. And I've already made it clear that I will be taking forward the Dump the Scales initiative and be calling for a new bill for the government to introduce an eating disorder strategy. So I'm asking you to keep your fingers crossed that I come up high in the ballot. And if I do, I'll be in touch with Hope and all of you, because it will be a focus for us to make the case why a strategy won't just solve every problem, but extra focus and extra resources will mean we can honour the people we've lost, and we can support the people who are still here, who need our help to ensure that they don't just live, but they thrive. Thank you.